Good day everyone, I am Viann Limas from Base HM3B, and today I am going to report Chapter 10, Laws Regulating Restaurants and Other Tourism-Oriented Establishments. So our learning objectives enumerate the responsibilities of a restaurant or similar establishment, identify the laws that govern restaurant, caterers, bars, health and fitness clubs, spas and entertainment outlets, and cite examples of issues and problems that may arise in restaurant, bars, and other tourism-oriented establishments. So, in this chapter, it deals with laws regulating restaurants and other tourism-related establishments that support our country's free artistic and intellectual expression, which eventually leads to the dynamic evolution of a Filipino national culture. So, we have the nature and description of business. So, it is a restaurant is any establishment offering to the public refreshment or meals. Then we have a department store is a store that sells or carries several lines of merchandise. Then we have a shop is a small retail establishment offering a line of goods or services. A sport and recreational club center is any establishment offering sports and recreational facilities to tourists and to general public. A museum is an institutional establishment where a collection of valuable objects and artifacts on history and cultures. A karaoke bar is any establishment offering karaoke or videoke facilities to tourists and to public. Then a gallery is any establishment that has a final or formal space for exhibition of paintings, sculpture, prints, and mixed media works. Then, tertiary hospital for medical tourists is an institution that provides clinical care and management. Then the last is a spa. It is establishment that has a holistic approach to health and wellness, rest and relaxation. Discussion of the law. So, accreditation, although not mandatory in nature, increase the marketability of the following tourism-related establishments. So, for purpose of accreditation by the Department of Tourism, the following are the minimum requirements that must be complied with for the operation of restaurants, shops or department stores, sports and recreational centers, museums, karaoke bars, galleries, tertiary hospital for medical tourism, and spas. Laws governing casinos and gaming establishments. So the law, Section 1, Declaration of Policy. So it is hereby declared to be the policy of the state to centralize and integrate all games of chance not heretofore authorized by existing franchisee. Then we have Section 2, Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corp or PAGCOR, Creation and Purpose. So to implement the state policy and pursue the objectives set forth in the preceding section. So, there is hereby created a body corporate to be known as the Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation. So, discussion of the law. So, the PAGCOR is a government-owned and controlled corporation was established to regulate all games of chance in the Philippines. So, it was born in 1976, created by the President Marcos to oversee the operation of gaming casinos, to generate funds for the government's developmental project, and to help curb illegal gambling. So, PAGCOR is being a government-owned and controlled corporation created under a legislative franchise, is governed under civil service laws, rules, and regulations. Special condition of the franchise. So, after deducting 5% as franchise tax, the 50% share of the government in the aggregate gross earning of the corporation from his franchise, or 60% if the aggregate gross earning be less than 150 million, shall immediately be set aside and shall accrue to the general fund to finance the priority infrastructure development projects. Taxes and exemptions. So all importations for the sole and exclusive use of the casinos, the proper and efficient management and administration thereof, and such other clubs, recreation, or amusement places is to be established under this franchise shall be exempt from the payment of all kinds of customs, duties, taxes, and other imposts, including all kinds of fees or charges of any kind or nature, whether national or local. Prohibition. So only tourists and or foreigner who are not residents of the Philippines and residents with a net income for the previous year of at least 50,000, which fact should be certified to by the Bureau of International Revenue, shall be allowed to play at the gambling casinos. So the following persons are not allowed to stay and or play at the gambling casinos. So these are the government officials directed with the operation of the government, members of PNP, AFP, the Army and the Air Force, and persons under 21 years of age, students of any school and college of university in the Philippines. Operation and maintenance of the tourism-related establishments. So, firefighting facilities should be provided in accordance with the Fire Code of the Philippines. All facilities of the establishment concerned should be properly maintained at all times, and a periodic vermin control program shall be conducted. Then all enclosed areas of the establishments concerned should be fully air conditioned or well ventilated, and no pets or animals should be allowed with the premises. And also, keepers, managers, or operators should exert all possible efforts not to permit any person whom they know or have reason to believe to be either prostitute, pedophile, or of questionable character. Then, without prejudice to the provision of existing laws, operators or managers and their assistants, and in case of tertiary hospitals for medical tourism, maintenance of all sections of the hospitals should be acceptable standards. Laws regulating caterers. So, a caterers is defined as a person, firm, or association providing food and supplies, and sometimes services for parties, weddings, and other social functions. So, there are two kinds of catering services. So, on-premise catering. So, in this type of catering, the caterer has his own banquet hall with an attached kitchen or production area. Then we have also off-premise catering. So for this type of catering, the caterer brings the complete service to the customers. Food Caterers Association of the Philippines, or FCAP. So the Food Caterers Association of the Philippines is a group of catering companies with the food caterers with the need to professionalize the industry and serve the needs of the Philippine catering industry. So the association has managed to attract a diverse network of renewed allied members who represent the food manufacturing, food distribution, audio systems, and wedding planning industries. So we have also the rule of the local government units. So under the local government code, the responsibility for the provision of basic services and facilities have been devolved to the local government units. So the term devolution refers to the act by which the national government confers power and authority upon the various local government units to perform specific functions and responsibilities. So the local government units, through the city of municipality, have the authority to grant or franchises and enact ordinance authorizing the issuance of permits or licenses intended to promote the general welfare of the inhabitants of the city or municipality. Retail Trade Law. So the Retail Liberalization Act of 2000 was enacted on March 7, 2000, which specifically repealed Republic Act 1180, otherwise known as the Retail Trade Nationalization Law. So by virtue of the Retail Trade Liberalization Act of 2000, the Philippine retail industry is hereby liberalized to encourage Filipino and competitive retail trade sector in the interest of empowering the Filipino consumer through lower prices, higher quality goods, better service, and wider choices. Laws regulating sale of alcohol. So the law, the National Internal Revenue Code. So the National Internal Revenue Code of 1997, as amended by Republic Act number 9334, December 21, 2004, has imposed excise taxes on the purchase of alcohol. So the excise tax rates shall be based on the classification of alcohol content as provided under the law. Then we have also the Local Government Code. So every local government units shall exercise the powers expressly granted, those necessarily implied therefrom, and those which are essential to the promotion of the general welfare. So, discussion of the law. So, each local government unit may enforce administrative orders or enact ordinances within their respective jurisdiction with respect to the regulation of the sale of alcohol to minors in bars or restaurants. So, violation of which may be a ground for the revocation of license by the local government unit concerned. So, in short, every local government unit has the autonomous authority to regulate and control the sale of liquor to minors. So violations would result to the imprisonment, fine, or even revocation or non-renewal of the business permit of establishments. Poisoning. So the law. Article 264, administering injurious substances or beverage. Then Article 265, less serious physical injuries. And Article 266, slight physical injuries and maltreatment. So, discussion of the law. So, that is why policies set forth by the Bureau of Food and Drugs, operators or owners, drugs, those governed by the Consumer Act must be strictly complied with by the operators or owners to prevent this kind of crime from happening. So, we have theft. So, the law, Article 308, who are liable for the theft? So, theft is committed by any person who would intend to gain but without violence against or intimidation of person nor force upon things. Then also we have Article 310, qualified theft. So, the crime of theft shall be punished by the penalties next higher by 2 degrees if committed with grave abuse or confidence. Then we have Article 311, theft of the property of the National Library and National Museum. So, if the property stolen be any property of National Library or Museum, the penalty shall be arresto major or a fine unless a higher penalty should be provided under other provisions of this code. So, we have discussion of the law. So, intent to gain is presumed from the unlawful taking of personal property belonging to the other. So, the basis of the penalty of theft is, first, the value of the things stolen. Second is the value and nature of the property taken. And the last is the circumstances or cause that impelled the culprit to commit the crime. So, setting limited access to employees with respect to the company's money and other personal properties may be helpful. So, that's all on my report about Chapter 10, Laws Regulating Restaurants and Other Tourism-Oriented Establishments. So, I hope that you've learned something. Thank you for listening and God bless.